what's going on, everybody? Listen, first off, I just want to apologize. It's been a long time since I've been able to come on and share with anything, share any nuggets. Continue to keep my wife in prayer. She's been recovering, and I've been doing the best that I can as a husband and a father to serve in that capacity. So I've been devoting all of my time and attention to that. But praise God, she's coming out of it, doing a lot better. She's actually on the road with me right now. It's the first time being out in a couple weeks, so we thank God for that. So with that being said, now that she's feeling better, I wanted to come right back into it and get right back started with sharing at least one nugget a week with you all. I missed it on yesterday. I was tied up, but today I have a little bit of free time, so I wanted to jump on real quick. And so I'm just going to jump into it. Pray you're having a blessed week. As always, I just jump on to give you something to think about, something to ponder on. So in transition, as we're driving today, something that's just kind of been stirring inside of my spirit. There's an old Latin saying that says, if you want peace, then prepare for war. And then over the years, it's translated and even more adapted to say that in times of peace, you prepare for war. And basically what it deals with, or what it kind of points to, is a concept of when everything's okay, when everything's all right, your perception isn't to just sit back and to relax, but to prepare for when it may not be that way. Now, oftentimes when you hear that, most people only attribute it to warfare, fighting, spiritual warfare, etc. But I've learned throughout the years that this same concept can be attributed to so many different other factors of life. For biblical example, let's look at when God gave Joseph a dream. Well, really, he gave the dream to Pharaoh. When he gave Pharaoh the dream for Joseph to interpret, the Pharaoh dreamed he dreamed two dreams, and in those dreams it was the same message, but he dreamt it twice. The dreams were pertaining to 5 years of increase and then 5 years of famine. So the 5 years of increase preceded the 5 years of famine. And so when he told the dream to, he didn't understand that that's what the Joseph interpreted it and told him that's what it meant. But the wisdom, or the key principle to the reason why God gave him the dream, was, I'm giving you 5 years of you getting more than what you would normally get. Be wise, because after this, the next 5 years are going to be years of lack where you're not going to get enough. So you have to learn to prepare for the famine in the 5 years of plenty. So as I've given you these 5 years where you're going to have more than enough, don't be wasteful, because the next 5 years you're not going to have enough unless you take care of what you get before time. And so that's a biblical example of how that principle plays in our lives. But like I said, it's not just a financial thing. It's not just a warfare thing. That even goes into concept when you're thinking about relationships. Most of the time, most people, when you think about your relationships, we get lost in the times of our relationship when everything is good. We have done nothing to prepare for when the hard seasons come. You're not going to always be on good terms. You're not going to always be smiling. You're not going to always have good communication. But if you have not done the root work ahead of time, if you have not gotten time to learn, to deal, the dialogue with that person, to understand their heart, then when there are disagreements, when you're not seeing eye to eye, you're not prepared to handle those moments. And so therefore now when the tension comes, you might perceive it in the wrong way, and you might actually lose out on a good relationship because you got lost in the moments when it was great, never taking time to prepare for what if we don't agree? What if there is a disagreement? What are their anger levels like? Are they extensively angry? Do they have attitude problems? Can I handle those attitude problems? What happens to them when they have those attitude problems? All of these things are things that you want to know about before they happen, so that if it happens, or if it's something that you know you can't handle, you don't wait until it happens. That's how you begin to handle proper relationships. Many people, they fail in relationships, and I'm not just talking about with your significant other. This could even be relationships with friends, family members, etc. The reason why so many of them fail is because you meet the side of a person that you say, I never knew existed. You never knew existed because you never tried to. You just got lost in the fact that this is how they are right now. You never said, let's sit down and have a conversation. Let's understand the truth. What happens? What upsets you? What happens when you get upset? You know, how does that look? And et cetera, et cetera. And then at the same time, having that same dialogue, being transparent on your end. this is what upsets me. These are my boundaries. You know, these are the things that I can forgive. These are the things that if you do this, you're going to have a hard time getting forgiveness from me. Even though I know it's a great Christian thing to forgive, I'm still human. And this is where my boundary is. So if you do this, you're going to trigger me, and let me let you know this. So, you know, all of these things are conversations that you have. That's how you prepare for war in times of peace, because you're letting them know, don't do this. They let you know, don't do this. And then when things transpire, you're not as shocked, you're not as caught off guard, because you prepared ahead of time. In that same concept, you use it, like I said, financially. You can use it in your relationships. You can use it on everything that you can think of. There's 5 P's that my bishop has given us in times past about understanding being prepared for anything. The 5 P's are proper preparation prevents poor performance. Again, that's proper preparation prevents poor performance. So understanding that anything in life requires strategic planning. Relationships, business, even your Christian living life, all of that requires proper planning. The Bible says that if any man seeks salvation, let him cut off the cost. No man's desires to build a house without seeing if he has sufficient enough to finish it. That scripture is quote unquote lined up with us living out our salvation. Understanding that even saying that I'm going to give my life to Christ, you have to be strategic about understanding, what does that really mean? What is that requiring of me? What am I really saying? What am I signing up for? So in all those things, understanding that preparation is key. So I just wanted to drop that on your spirit on the day and just share that nugget with you all, because I think so many times most of us, we're caught off guard because we don't realize that in everything in life, if you're not prepared for it, then you're going to be caught off guard. And in those moments is when we want to fault God. But God is saying, I gave you preparation time. You just did nothing with it. I gave you ideas and strategies on what to do, but instead you did nothing with it. And then when things happen, you want to pray and ask me to come in and intercede now. But I'm saying I gave you the time ahead of time to do stuff. You know, things like, you know, when untimely death happens. Yes, the death is unexpected. But how many years have the person been alive? Did y'all have health insurance? Did you make sure you had health insurance? Enough, you know, life insurance? You know, all of these things that you know are things you need to put in place so that when stuff happens, you know, you're prepared for it. Sicknesses, untimely sicknesses happen in marriage and in relationships. Have you, you know, acquired sufficient enough health insurance and at the same time put enough in savings so where if the primary bread provider was to get sick and were unable to work and bring in the right amount of income, you got enough sufficient income inside your account to hold you over during those times, so where you don't have to be quote unquote praying and asking God to make a way, because you took the time when he made a way beforehand to be strategic about being prepared for it. Not saying that, you know, you should be ashamed of having to depend on God, but just recognizing that sometimes what we're dependent on God for is for him to rescue us from our poor planning that he allowed us to have previously. And so just in growth and development and understanding and just looking at scripture, like I said, the scripture that I showed you, where he gave warning, he let them know, listen, you're about to be blessed, but that blessing isn't for you to waste it. When you are blessed, use what you need, save what you don't, because just in case hard times come, you see where I prepared my blessing ahead of time for you, so that your hard season where struggles for everyone else, you get to walk around showing that God prepared me for this, so I'm good. And that's where a lot of us miss it. We don't realize that that's what he wants us to be strengthened. Not saying that we don't go through, but we just don't go through like everybody else, because we take the wisdom that he's given us and we learn to plan and take and appreciate what he's given us aforetime. We put in strategies and we plan and put things in place so that whenever hard seasons come, they're not hard seasons for us because we were prepared for it. So I just want to ask you on today, have you taken time to really look at what God has given you in your finances, in your ideas, in your concepts, in your relationships? Have you take time to properly plan? And are you ready for the hard season should they come? If not, you might want to put a plan together. Something to think about. Until next time, guys, I appreciate y'all for listening. I apologize once again for the delay. Try to be back next week with something more, something to incite you and stir your thinking. Y'all continue to have a blessed week. I love y'all, man. Peace.